Hello everyone. Today we are embarking on a quest that I have not attempted for the last 10 years, and that is watching the 2010 Lightning Thief movie in full. So, as you might know, the second season of the Percy Jackson TV show is going to come out in December, and basically leading up to that, I wanted to kind of wrap up all of my thoughts around the Lightning Thief and all of its adaptations, because since it's come out, we've had three different adaptations. We've had the original Lightning Thief movie that came out in 2010, we've had the musical that came out in 2017, and we have the TV show that came out in 2023. So basically, we've had three attempts to adapt just the first book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. And so I kind of wanted, before we get into the Sea of Monsters, to just kind of rewatch all of them, see how these adaptations have been developed, what went right, what went wrong. And that is going to be a separate video where I do compare all three adaptations and go in depth and analyze them as individual pieces, as adaptations, as well as individual projects, to look at all the different ways that this one story has been told. And because I needed to rewatch the original movie in order to make that video, I figured I would kill two birds with one stone with this video and do a reaction of it. I actually did do a reaction of the Sea of Monsters movie a few years ago on my channel. To this day, that's my most viewed video, which is kind of tragic because I very haphazardly threw that video together. It was literally in the middle of the night. I didn't do my hair, I didn't do my makeup. I just had the urge and I made that video. And of course, that is the one that the most amount of people have seen. And for the sake of just completion, I wanted to have both movie reactions on this channel. Even though I'm going a little bit backwards here, I started with the second movie and now I'm going to the first movie literally 6 years later. But we're just gonna ignore that and we're just gonna continue on. So without further ado, let us watch and react to Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief from 2010. I feel like right off the bat, we can see how, with the depiction of the gods, they've chosen a very traditional Greek portrayal of them, or what I assume is what they're attempting to do as a traditional Greek attire, what we basically know as Greek attire from film and media in the past, not the way that it's described in the books as kind of fitting their personalities, like Poseidon wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt.
Zeus?
I never seen Grey's Anatomy, but I know this guy plays Owen Hunt, and I've just started Game of Thrones, so seeing Ned Stark is just, this is a very funny interaction.
If you touch him,
They're so angry. They're breathing so heavily.
or there will be war.
Zeus, dramatic as always. Oh my god, this shot of Logan Lerman is so nostalgic for me. Oh my god. I should give some context about my feelings about this movie and my history with it. I don't think I watched this movie before I read the books, but I definitely was made aware of the books because of this movie. I was in the 4th grade, I think, when it came out, and people in my class had been reading Percy Jackson, but I was not super interested in it until I saw the trailer for this movie, and then I saw the book tie-in cover for it. And I'll be fully transparent that I enjoyed it. I had a good time with this movie. I recognized that it was not accurate at all or a good adaptation of the books at the time, but I thought it was a decent movie and I had a good time. But I was 10 though, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Wait, Christoph Beck made the music for this? He did the music of Frozen.
How do you do it?
I just like being in water. There's one place I can think.
Grover's like, that's why you like being in water.
Right? It's like high school without the musical.
Wait, that reference is so funny because, High School Musical came out 4 years before this movie came out. Or at least the last one did. Oh no! 2008, so it was a pretty recent reference for this movie to be making.
Would someone please explain what Shakespeare was trying to convey in this line from Othello?
This is not a big deal at all, but I don't know why they made Mrs. Dodds an English teacher when the first chapter of The Lightning Thief is I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Because I feel like you could portray the dyslexia and the not being able to read with math pretty easily still. Again, it's not really the biggest issue in this movie.
Hey, Mom, I'm home.
I'm up here, honey.
Chris Columbus. So again, I guess another context thing for this movie is that this is directed by the same director who did the first two Harry Potter movies. And so it was a very interesting decision for him to make the ages of these characters so much older and not start at 12 years old like they did with the Harry Potter series. Because this is essentially could have been the next Harry Potter. But it was in a different context of popular culture. Like, this was a twilight area where teen media was really at its height, and so I kind of understand why they felt like they needed to have that teen angle.
Oh, come
Oh,
on, man. You have to do
I didn't like that.
Why do you stay with that pig? He sleeps till noon every day and he can't even hold a job. Why do you stay with him?
This came up in both this movie and then also in the show, where they make a reference to the fact that Gabe doesn't have a job or can't keep a job, which in both instances is different from the book, and I think adds a little bit of a different dynamic to their situation. Obviously, we know that the actual reason why Gabe is with them is because of the smell thing, that it will distract or turn the monsters away and disguise Percy. But if we're looking at the situation from more like real life practical reasons, it does make a little bit more sense that they would stay with him because of financial reasons as well. Because in the book, he does have a business. I don't know how well that business is doing. But that could at least provide like a non-magical reason as to why they needed to stay with Gabe. Obviously, there's a lot of different forms that abusive relationships can take and a lot of different ways that toxicity can manifest and why people stay in these kind of relationships. But I feel like because none of the versions of the story really go into the depth of this abusive relationship, I feel like it would have made more sense to just keep it that way, where there was a financial aspect as well.
Miss Dodds? Hello?
Where is it?
Oh my god.
Hey, hey. How did you get up there?
You know, this is so interesting. Like, I don't know what happened with movies nowadays, but I feel like the CGI of a lot of past movies are, even with lesser budgets, are better than movies nowadays. I don't know what the heck is wrong with Hollywood nowadays. Even just like the color grading. Like, this CGI does not look that bad.
Oh, I'm going crazy. Oh, I should be on medication.
Percy, calm down, Cam.
I should be on medication.
It's a powerful weapon. Guard it well. Only use it in times of severe distress.
This is a pen. This is a pen.
It's iconic. What can I say?
Hey, hey, don't talk about my mom like that, you bald-headed freak.
You bald-headed freak. Percy is very, like, combative against Gabe, which I feel like is not how he is in the book, but he's so much younger in the book. He's, like, only 12, so, like, what is he gonna do? And also, he doesn't really want to, like, make Gabe mad at his mom. So I feel like he's, like, more internally mad at Gabe than he is externally.
So, he did abandon us.
No, honey, he was forced to. He loved you.
It's, like, stressing me out that she's, like, not looking at the road.
Sally, watch out!
See? She wasn't looking at the road!
Why are you taking your pants off? What are you doing? My job.
I do have to say I'm honestly pretty pleasantly surprised with how it's been adapted so far. Like, besides the elephant in the room and the fact that they're just way too old, Logan Lerman is like 17 or 18 in this movie. Brandon T. Jackson is like in his late 20s. Alexandra Daddario, who we're gonna meet later, is also in her late 20s. Like, besides that elephant in the room, how they're adapting everything and how things occur is pretty good.
What do you remember?
Another elephant in the room, I should say, is how Grover is just completely not who Grover is in the book. Grover is much more awkward. He's kind of scared of everything, whereas they turned him into this kind of like more suave, more flirtatious comedic relief in this version.
Annabeth, daughter of Athena, the goddess of wisdom.
They're having a blue eye off. Brunette and blue eye off. I guess another thing I have to address, Annabeth is not blonde. And here, I do have to give my apologies because I was one of the people who was really mad that Annabeth was not blonde 10 years ago, or however many years ago, 15 years ago. But again, I was 10 years old, and I've grown since. Annabeth not being blonde is like the least amount of issue in this movie. It is a non-issue. But I think the reason why people were really mad about it is because Logan Lerman is pretty close to how Book Percy is described if he had green eyes instead of blue eyes, but still, like, he fit that archetype a lot closer. And so I think people really wanted Annabeth to have, you know, to fit the fan art version in their heads of what they look like. I do want to point out that it's a little suspicious that no one cared that Grover was race bent in this movie. that no one cared that he was a completely different personality in this movie. You only care when it's the female character that you want to project onto. Noticing.
You have...
A real horse's ass.
I didn't know they could say ass in a PG movie.
All right, guys, you guys got a lot of catching up to do. Their mother's the goddess of love, so you know where that leads.
I really don't like this womanizer version of Grover. Though I guess, isn't it a thing that satyrs are very, I don't want to say promiscuous, but like they like to, romance the other woodland creatures. These are not woodland creatures, these are daughters of Aphrodite, but you know what I mean. They like, wait. I was just about to say that they couldn't make it any more obvious that he is Poseidon's son, because I thought that he was claimed during Capture the Flag, even in the movie. I didn't know they just flat out said that he was Poseidon's son. Also, why do they have this, like, Poseidon memorabilia cabin on the water? Is it supposed to be the Poseidon cabin? I don't think so.
She sacrificed so much for me. Now she's gone.
I feel like Percy should be a little bit more sad that his mom is gone. Like, he's kind of just like, ugh, she's gone now. Like, she's, like, on a work trip or something. For an extended period of time.
Percy.
Percy, you can make your crush a little less obvious.
Welcome to the Blue Soldiers, my friend.
Is Logan Lerman short? He looks really short compared to Jake Abel. Speaking of him, he was also low-key kind of like a YA adaptation icon in this era. Like, he was in The Host. Was he in something else? I don't know. I feel like I saw him all the time. But maybe it was just those two things. Where did she come from? How did she jump from there?
Stand up and fight.
They really just, like, combined Annabeth and Clarice in this movie into one role. Like, Annabeth is Percy's bully and is kind of hazing him in this scene. And they're also on different teams. Like, we don't have that whole thing where, like, Annabeth and him are on the same team and she uses him for her strategy.
The water will give you power.
Again, I don't really know why they did this. Like, why did they already say that he's the son of Poseidon? Like, they have this scene where they're showing where he's getting healed by water. Well, I mean, actually, what am I even saying? We knew from the very beginning because we opened with Poseidon talking about his son, so we knew that he was son of Poseidon. But I guess the rest of camp didn't know that he was son of Poseidon? I don't know. I don't want to, like, spend too much time comparing this to a TV show, but I have to say that I like the way that they portrayed how Percy is good at sword fighting in the show more, because it truly does feel like he is stumbling upon this. Like, he is purely doing it out of instinct, whereas here it looks like he's been trained to sword fight. Like, he's on the aggressive, on the offensive, as opposed to purely defending himself and just having that, like, natural instinct to defend and put his sword where it needs to be. I also don't like how, like, confident Percy is being here, like, and kind of just, like, feeling himself. I feel like it's too early in the movie for him to be like, yeah, I'm the shit. Okay, so I feel like this is the turning point where this movie starts going a little bit crazy in terms of how they adapt the plot. Like, this is their way, I guess, of trying to get Percy to go to Hades by making him appear to the camp.
So, who knows how to get to the underworld?
Did not think of that one.
Dude, you were just gonna leave and not have a plan? Like, how, you don't even know where to go.
There's stuff out there, you know?
I know, this, like, breaks lore for him to have all these, like, computers and gaming and stuff, but I kinda don't mind it. It's kinda funny.
You see my dad on the highway to hell?
Oh my god, I remember this. And then they play Highway to Hell. A needle drop, almost as on the nose as The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I guess let's adjust this now, this plot change about how they made the pearls, Persephone's pearls, first of all, not coming from Poseidon, and two, like, they structured the entire quest around these pearls. Also, the quest is not even a given quest, they sneak out. We've eliminated the prophecy. There's no prophecy telling us that there will be a god in the west who has turned, a friend who betrays them, none of that. We don't know any of that. They do what the second movie is supposed to have, where they sneak out of a quest. And also, they kind of eliminate the whole plot line that they think that Hades stole the lightning bolt, and that's why they're going to the underworld, because they want to retrieve the lightning bolt and give it back to Zeus. Because right now, like, Percy is purely going to the underworld just to like prove that he doesn't have the bolt and then get his mom back. But that doesn't solve the issue of the bolt is still missing. We don't know who took the bolt, which I don't mind Percy's main motivation being to save his mom. Like, that's canonical, that's true. But we're not really addressing the fact that the bolt is still missing, and the quest is not really about the bolt, unless I missed something. And also, the quest nature of the book is very, like, traditional Greek quest, where they kind of run into things. They're not, like, going to different stops for different reasons. They're trying to get from point A to point B, but run into C, D, E, F, G along the way. But I can understand why, for the purpose of a movie that has limited screen time, why they wanted it to be more streamlined, have more purpose as to why they're going to where they are. I still think they could have done it in a way that was more quest-like, but it's not a huge deal.
Don't move.
Oh my god, Uma Thurman. This cast is really stacked. Like, Chris Columbus really was, like, cashing in on all of his connections. Okay, I talked about earlier how the CGI is, like, not that bad, but, like, the snakes are a little bit much for me.
I used to date your daddy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Foreshadowing to Thalia in book 5.
Thanks.
Come on.
Not to nitpick, but if she could just take her wrist out of that lady's hand, why couldn't she have done that before?
Heads up.
They love their puns in this movie. They really do.
Would have been nice if Luke had warned us about Medusa.
Interesting that Annabeth is the one to clock that Luke didn't warn them about Medusa, and not Percy. Percy's the one defending him. Wait, I don't remember this at all. This motel scene? Wait, this feels so 2000s. That particular editing. It's kind of nostalgic, honestly. Oh my god, and she's wearing capris. Iconic.
Check this out.
How did he know he could do that? Like, I feel like they could have done it in a way where he was like, let me see if I can heal you. I can heal myself, so I'm sure I could heal somebody else. But they make him so assured of his abilities, even though he's so early on in his discovery of being a demigod.
Right after we were born, Zeus decreed that the gods couldn't have physical contact with their mortal offspring.
Wait a second. I don't like that. Hold on. So they made it so that any god cannot have physical contact with their children? Is that in the books? I don't think it's in the books. And I feel that defeats the entire antagonistic arc of this series about the neglect of the children by the parents. Because if it's like by law, then it's just Zeus's problem. Like, the issue is just with Zeus. I mean, a lot of issues are just with Zeus. But I feel like it puts the locus of control outside of the gods themselves, or puts it on one singular god, making a rule. So it makes it seem like, oh, if they had the opportunity, if it was allowed, they would definitely see their children, ignoring the fact that they have every opportunity to help, or they are careless with how many offspring they have, or they don't claim their demigods. I mean, in this movie, they don't even have like a claiming thing, so there's not any introduction of the idea of being unclaimed. I do see how they're trying to portray with Percy in this movie that this is wrong, that they should not be deadbeats in this way, but it's a lot worse if they have the opportunity to and they choose not to see their children, as opposed to them being not allowed to. I wonder if they did this because they wanted to have, I guess, a more logical reason as to why the kids are okay that their parents don't see them or their parents don't interact with them. Obviously, aside from Luke, we saw was not happy with that. But I feel like it's a much more interesting dynamic if they know that their parent could interact with them more, but they still love them and want their approval and care despite all of that, because that is a much more realistic portrayal of a parent and child relationship. A child is going to want that care from their parent regardless of how they treat them, especially at that age when they're so young. I mean, in this one they're older, so it's a little bit different. But anyway, it's a very odd choice that they did that.
Percy Jackson and his mother, Sally Ugliano.
Hold on. Sally Ugliano? They made Sally Jackson take her husband's name? Sally Jackson, who Percy Jackson is named after? That's crazy. So, they're going to Nashville to the Parthenon in place of going to the St. Louis Arch. I'm like 100% certain it's just because the Parthenon is a Greek building, so they thought it would be like, you know, a little bit, you know, on theme to go there. How long were they sitting there on the toilet? For hours?
You're gonna kill the janitors.
Chill.
Those are working class Americans.
That's so funny. I wonder if they went here because they also wanted an excuse to use the shoes during the quest. Like maybe they didn't think of how they would use it otherwise. I feel like the fact that he uses water in such like a grandiose way as his power this early on kind of like defeats the climactic moment at the end when he's fighting Luke. I don't know, we'll see how it appears in the movie.
The gods are angry. We need to get the last pearl. Where's the next location?
Yeah.
Again, I don't understand. Like, you're not solving the issue of the lightning bolt. You're just getting your mother back by getting these pearls. Like, Zeus is still going to be angry because he doesn't have his lightning bolt back.
I guess we don't.
It's free.
I know people clowned on the TV show for having them, like, know immediately when they get in that to not eat the lotus flowers. But to be fair, like, at least Annabeth should have clocked to not eat the lotus flowers. Like, how it is in the book is different in both adaptations. Like, in the book, there's no eating of any lotus flower. Like, they generally just don't have a perception of time because they're so enamored by the fun. But in both the TV show and the movie, they have this element of eating things.
Let's never leave.
Another scene that I really remember being iconic. Carry my, no, we can't read my poker face. She's got the one. Carry my, no, we can't read my poker face. She's got the one. They are so not gearing this towards kids.
Yeah, this year, 1971.
That exact interaction was something that I did want in the TV show that we never got, and I don't really know why. I feel like they also made them older than this movie to, like, have them be able to drive. So I feel like part of the issue with them being, like, literally children is that they have to have creative ways of trying to get across America.
Who's that creepy guy with a hoodie?
So fun fact, the guy who plays Charon in this movie plays Krusty in the TV show. Why would Grover give human cash? He's of the godly world. Why would he not give a drachma? Why is Percy the one that is suggesting to give a drachma? They kind of went with like a traditional version of hell with this, like very clearly hellfire, as opposed to just being like the underworld as a collective where there are different areas depending on your fate.
What were those things?
Hellhounds.
Oh my god, Rosario Dawson. Wait, isn't Persephone not supposed to be here? Right? Yeah, she should be upstairs. Upstairs. As in the above world. In my mind, I thought he was Russell Brand. But this is not Russell Brand.
I'm not the lightning thief. I don't have the bolt. I never did.
Why did you come here then?
My question too. I'm like, what were you hoping to gain? Wait, it was right there. He didn't notice it? I was wondering why they made such a point about the shield, because I was like, they don't give him a shield in the book. He gets a backpack from Ares, actually, so.
Lassie, sit!
Dang, this movie is like, they're always opting for the dramatics.
Go on, give it back.
What the heck is going on? I guess that's why they included Persephone in this movie. They needed someone to turn on Hades.
A war of the gods would put an end to that. And I'd be alone. With only him.
I feel like it's a little bit of a lazy take to portray Hades and Persephone that way. Like, I'm not a huge, like, I don't know a lot about Hades and Persephone and, like, the retellings, but I know that it's a lot more complicated, and Hades is, like, not an evil guy. We even see it in Percy Jackson, that he's, like, not an evil guy, he just has his own personal motivations.
Each pearl transports only a single person. One of you will have to stay.
Thank you for spelling that out for us. I'm surprised like, also none of them thought about that. Because like the entire quest was about the pearls. Did no one think about the fact that we're only getting 3 pearls, but we have 4 people trying to leave the underworld?
Look, man, I don't want to hear it. Just go. It's my duty.
This is also a change that is so not good, in my opinion, is having Grover stay behind and having Percy's mom leave with them, because it's such a hugely important part of Percy's character development that he does this whole quest to save his mom, but then he has to sacrifice her yet again. He can't save her. It also relates to the prophecy where it says fails to save what matters most in the end. But again, we don't have prophecy here, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, purely on Percy's motivation, like it is such a key character growth moment too, that he's like, he has to make this choice about like the greater world versus his personal stakes and his mom.
Percy Jackson.
He has his own pair of shoes too? Oh wait, they didn't even do anything with the flying shoes and going to Tartarus. So like it genuinely just was like a gift from him.
Why would you do that?
To bring Olympus crumbling down.
We also like don't spend like any time with Luke in this movie. Like we have that one scene of him helping Percy during Capture the Flag, and then the scene right before they leave for the quest. To be fair, it's hard. It is like a short movie, like, or it's only the length of a movie, like 2 hours. But this movie spends so much time on action, I realize. And a lot of people love that, and I do like it to a certain extent, but I feel like the time that they spend on action, they could spend on character development or plot development or anything a little deeper than just pure action choreography.
I say it's time for our generation to take over. Remold the world in our image. A world of new heroes.
There's also has been no mention of Kronos. Like, they just purely want a war between the gods. I mean, that's why I guess they couldn't do anything with the flying shoes going into Tartarus and bringing them to Kronos, because Kronos is not involved here. Okay, my suspension of disbelief is getting a little bit tested to its limits with that fly. Like, he's literally flying. Oh, I forgot they have their flying shoes. I'm dumb. Again, like, I know this is like a little bit more of a grander thing than what happened at the Parthenon, but like, we've already seen Percy wield water in such a way. So like, it doesn't feel as epic in this moment. And also, we didn't really see him struggle at all with controlling his power.
Let's be rational. War is not the answer.
Is that supposed to be Hera or Athena? Because I feel like Athena would not say war is not the answer.
I'm not expecting you to forgive me.
Could he not have, like, shrunk down to be his size? This is kind of awkward.
Welcome home.
This is a little too fast. I've always thought this, but I don't like this, like, choreography with the sword fighting. Like, it looks so fake. There's, like, no resistance, no tension. It's very much like pose, pose, pose. Okay, that is it. Guys, I'm so tired right now. It's like 2 a.m. But let us reflect on this movie. Okay, let's start with the positive. Things I liked. Honestly, everything leading up to camp and then through, like, the midpoint of Capture the Flag, I would say, I was kind of on board. Like, I was honestly being like, did I overly hate this movie in my memory? Like, I was kind of enjoying it, and it was kind of the vibe and the spirit of Percy Jackson. So I was like, oh, pleasantly surprised. I liked how they portrayed Percy's dyslexia and ADHD in school. I also liked how they showed Mrs. Dodds in that encounter at the Met. I also really liked how they portrayed Percy's fish out of water energy in the beginning, where he's just reacting to all these like crazy things, like starting from when Mrs. Dodds attacked him. I liked Grover. Do I like it as an adaptation? No, but Grover was a funny character in this movie. Like, his lines were so funny. And I also liked the chemistry between him and Percy. I really felt like they were friends. I think the action in this movie was really good. I will also kind of put that in my cons, which I'll discuss a little bit later. But overall, I think like they do a pretty good job of like trying to make things exciting and trying to move everything forward, so we're not staying stagnant anywhere. I like the Medusa scene, even though it was a little bit prolonged in my opinion, but not overly so. Lotus Casino I like simply for the fact that it's Poker Face playing. And I would say for the most part I did like Logan Lerman as Percy, his performance as Percy. There were a few things where I was like, I don't really like this interpretation, specifically the ego part and the fact that like he never seems to struggle with his powers at all. But it's like passable. It's fine. Now, let's go into things I didn't like, which is a lot longer. This movie is extremely superficial in character, in theme, and anything that's not straight up plot. It really is structured and formatted to be an action adventure movie, which is a part of Percy Jackson. Is it a part of The Lightning Thief? Honestly, no. I feel like there's a little bit of a misremembering of like how much action there is in The Lightning Thief because there is so much action overall in Percy Jackson. But we do have to remember that Percy is so new to being a demigod in The Lightning Thief. And so like there's not like these really prolonged scenes of action. But it's not inherently a problem by itself, but you can clearly tell when they were adapting this that everything was in service of creating this action adventure movie, and that meant sacrificing things like character development, of establishing a greater story. It also felt very obvious that this was not meant to be like a very long series. Like they really plotted this movie to be a standalone. I guess I didn't know if they were gonna get other movies, but like I feel like they still could have at least tried to set up so that when they did, and they did eventually get a next movie, there would be something to go off of. Like the fact that Kronos is not in any way set up in this movie, let alone playing a part in this movie, is crazy to me. That is bonkers. I already ranted about it, but the whole Zeus making a law that the gods can't see their children, bonkers. The closest thing to like an emotional core that this movie tried to do was that relationship between the gods and their children, or at least with Poseidon and Percy. I didn't even feel like there was any emotional connection between the characters in the movie and them bonding. Like I said that I did feel like Percy and Grover had good chemistry, but like that was from the very beginning. There was no place where they were going with that. But Annabeth and Percy were supposed to develop a friendship, or in this movie they were heavily implying the romantic relationship. But it really was just like they found each other attractive and they went on this quest, but like there wasn't much development. They had that scene at the motel, didn't really do much for me. Speaking of Annabeth, they gave Annabeth no personality in this movie. Like, they kept going on and on about the fact that she's the daughter of Athena, that she's the goddess of strategy. But there are very few moments where Annabeth is actually, like, contributing or strategizing. We barely get to see her do anything on this quest that is her idea. I think the last time we saw it was maybe, like, when in the Medusa scene where she drives that car into them. And then everything else is just kind of her spewing factoids about the mythology for us. When they are about to leave the quest, they do introduce that aspect of her character that she has been training so hard and that she never gets to leave the camp. So this is her opportunity to actually go on a quest. And she does have that desire to see Athena. And so at the end, she does have that like hi mom aspect to it. But again, so superficial. So superficial. And what's probably the most egregious is like the plot things that don't make sense, because this movie clearly they only cared about the plot and making like an entertaining story and sacrificed everything else about the characters and the themes for that. So the fact that some of the plots also still doesn't make sense is crazy. Like I can't get over the fact that the lightning bolt played no part in the actual quest. Like the quest was purely for the pearls. And he just assumed that because he's not the lightning thief, Hades would let his mom go. And like we see that that is kind of stupid, and Hades does point that out about it. Like, please correct me if I missed this and I wasn't paying attention. But like they keep talking about the summer solstice and meeting this deadline, but like they're going to Hades and they're just trying to get his mom back. So like that's not going to affect Poseidon and Zeus fighting, because Zeus still wouldn't have the lightning bolt. I don't know. Did they think that Hades had the lightning bolt? Like, I don't know. Also, regarding the structure, that they decided to put like a prologue of sorts with Zeus and Poseidon talking and establishing that there is a lightning thief and that he will bring war if it's not back to him by the solstice. I can definitely understand why they did that for brevity, but it also kind of calls to question that they basically were like, we don't need to make Percy being a son of Poseidon a surprise. Like, from the get-go, we know he's a son of Poseidon. Again, also about like not setting up for any future movies. They don't emphasize at all or talk about why the big three can't have kids. I don't even think there is a reason why they can't have kids that it's said in the movie. They just said that they're rare because they're powerful, I think. I guess maybe Poseidon was alluding to it at the end that they have more responsibilities, their domains are larger, so like they can't be distracted. I don't know. But again, there's no prophecy. There's nothing for them to set up. They clearly were trying to make this an insular story using the book as a sort of outline, an inspiration. But I feel like because they focused so much on action, it like diluted the effect almost. Like by the end, by the final fight, I was low-key getting a little bit bored because I'm like, I feel like I've seen Percy fight so often. Like I know they're like, flying in the sky with their flying boots with the lightning bolt, and then Percy does that whole water thing. But I'm like, I've seen him fly, I've seen the lightning bolt work, I've seen him use the water powers in such a great capacity. The only thing different is Luke, and Luke was not a highly compelling villain in this movie. All we get of his motivation is that line where he's just like, yeah, the gods are bad. They don't care about us. And the motivation that he cites at the end is that he wants control, that he wants the gods to be at war with each other so that it falls apart, I guess. Which I don't know how he would get control from that. It's not like he's trying to raise Kronos. Like in the books, Kronos is offering Luke an alternative. And that's why he is compelled to follow him, because he's saying that the way that the gods have ruled has been bad, and that I will be a better ruler. I will give you power in this system. It's not really control that Luke wants in this movie, it's chaos. He just wants the war to happen. And no Ares. I can't believe I haven't brought that up. The main antagonist in The Lightning Thief is Ares, aside from Luke. And he's not even in this movie. They just completely brush over him. I remember the first time that I saw this movie when they went to the diner, I really thought that they were gonna see Ares there, but they didn't. And I know, I do give this movie some grace in the sense that they only have 2 hours, so like they have to cut things. There's a lot in this book. But for me, what is kind of unforgivable about this as an adaptation are those things about not setting things up about the greater story, about Kronos, about the great prophecy, about anything. I think the parental neglect storyline was a little underdone. The characterization of Annabeth and Grover, the structure of the quest narrative. I guess there's a lot of things that I didn't like about this movie, the more that I think about it. And most of all, it's just not having heart. Like for me, this does not capture the spirit of Percy Jackson, because the spirit of Percy Jackson truly is in what it is saying, what the message is. Like, sure, yeah, it's also about that adventure storyline, but it really drops the ball on emotion. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say. Hopefully I can compile all these thoughts into some semblance of a coherent video. Please let me know your thoughts about this movie. I know there's a lot of like varied opinions about this now, especially in context of having the new TV show and whether people liked that or not. That's a whole other story that I'll get to in my overall analysis video of the 3 adaptations. If you want to see my reaction to the second movie, Sea of Monsters, I'll have that linked below, as well as my whole Percy Jackson playlist where I have a bunch of videos talking about various things in the Percy Jackson universe. I now have a better understanding of why the Sea of Monsters movie was such a mess, is because they didn't set up anything in this movie, but yeah, go have fun with that. It is a version of me that is 6 years younger, so beware of that. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.